Welcome back to the 7th and final episode of Zero to Hero for Season 3 of War Within. This week, I was determined to hit 3k IO, but believe me when I say, this was by far my hardest week yet. Hey, why the fuck? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. What are you talking about? You're blind? You're the one who pulled! What? Why are we? Just fucking chill! Stuff a chill pill up your goddamn ass. But at least I keep my composure. In our vault, we pick up the biggest possible upgrade, a myth track weapon. Our first order of business was to time all keys on a plus 12 and work our way up to plus 13s. I started off running my own key, since by timing our plus 12, we're guaranteed a plus 13 key. My first group was absolutely stacked. I'm not even trying to say this as a flex, but I'm not used to being bottom damage in my keys. I got very lucky with this 3500 IO group that signed up. Our damage and healing was so high that we could easily pull mobs onto bosses and not have any difficulty. This was amazing since it meant we could comfortably two-chest the key. For the last boss, I realized something interesting. I'm sure I'm not the first to notice, but I haven't heard anyone mention it before. If you can't find your untethered spirit, simply run out of the group with a circle. You won't get the buff for collecting your spirit, but you also won't get the debuff for blowing it up. If every group was like this, I wouldn't even consider Zero to Hero to be a challenge. I was slightly embarrassed that I was bottom damage on my last key, but I do remember seeing a comment on my last video about Sentinel survival doing crazy damage. I checked Raider IO and, sure enough, top survival hunters were all Sentinel.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
In short, Sentinel makes it so that every 30 seconds our wildfire bomb drops this blue area, Lunar Storm, that does massive damage. But because we can't control when this proc comes up, we have to be careful not to proc our Sentinel circle until the pull is gathered. It will move slightly to try and center itself over our target, but it won't be able to go across a room. This new talent setup also has us taking Butchery over Flanking Strike, which is pressed off cooldown to keep up merciless blows. Our opener is the most important part of this talent set, as our abilities have extremely short cooldowns, so we want to follow the pattern Bomb, Butchery, Bomb, Coordinated Assault, Bomb, and finish with Fury of the Eagle for our rotation. Essentially, press Wildfire Bomb in between every other ability when possible. Heading back into keys, this Hall's run featured maybe the most insane, unhinged tank/player I have ever encountered.
You fool, you've doomed us all.
He started by linking his route. Seemingly, everything was pretty normal. He then proceeded to pull, pretty much, the exact opposite of what the route said to do.
What are you doing?
The actual route that we ran was nothing short of batshit crazy. We didn't pull anything around Halkias, making the fight essentially impossible. Admittedly, I did die instantly upon pulling the boss. Oh, fuck me, dude. But we were doomed from the start. When I was B-rezzed, the tank ran the boss away, fearing me instantly. Oh, come on. On both sides, we had Houndmaster packs. There was a gargoyle behind us, and we had run out of room for Reflective Synlight. My key was bricked, but we decided to run it back on the Monk's plus 13, just with a different tank.
Get that garbage out of here!
We picked up a few deaths here and there, but our key really took a turn for the worst on Elise.
Oh no, bro.
This fight can be surprisingly tricky with a lot of nasty overlaps. However, we didn't wipe and still had enough time. Unfortunately, having run a lot of halls at this point, I knew it was coming. Healers, Resto Druids in particular, seem to love getting hit by this statue. Our dungeon was bricked, and because we had run the Monk's key, I still had my plus 12 halls, so I was done with running my key for the time being. I next ran a plus 12 Gambit and Arakara, which didn't really have anything too noteworthy about them. The only thing worth mentioning is that these dungeons illustrate a good point as to knowing when to hold on to our Lunar Storm charge versus when to use it. For bosses that move a lot, like the Dragon in Gambit or the second boss in Arakara, it's definitely worth it to hold on to our proc for a few extra seconds. We timed both keys, and we're moving right along. I was really hoping to get Priory out of the way, but this dungeon was turning into a bit of an arch villain in this series. My first attempt started off with a scuffed pull. Our tank then pulled some packs I've never seen pulled, and quickly after this, on the second mini-boss, our tank showed how truly incompetent he was, and the key was abandoned. Let's just get this out of the way now. I ran a lot of Priory keys, each about as successful as the last. Our second run ended tragically with our tank getting a bit too ambitious near the end with chain pulling.
What are you doing?
Another Priory key I'll highlight is this Pally Party key. I'll give you one guess as to who the problem child in this key was. The tank. It was the tank. Of course it was the tank. He pulled up to the fountain, and when the mini-boss was pulled, he instantly blamed someone else for pulling. Are you talking about? You're blind? You're the one who pulled! In which I informed him that the mini-boss walks around. I don't know how people like this get such high IO without actually learning a single thing about the dungeon. Skipping a bit forward, on our 8th or something Priory run, I finally found a tank who just pulled normally, and even used his utility to help soak on the second boss. Finally timed this godforsaken key on a +12.
Finally!
Headed into streets, we were in for some more tank troubles. This time though, it wasn't player error, but instead, Blizzard favoritism. Blood DKs just die sometimes. On the first pull, despite using misdirection, I found myself with aggro, having to quickly feign death to avoid real death. This was not the first time this was gonna happen. Luckily, we were able to salvage the pull by kiting it back to spawn. Infinite B-reses. On the first boss, I was able to successfully turtle the interrogation mechanic, using a tip I learned in the comment section of my last video. Instead of using my old turtle macro, we should instead macro cancel turtle into an attack ability, so you don't accidentally cancel it by spamming the turtle button. We had a spicy pull with the core hounds and mini-boss here, giving us very little room to dodge the frontal. Additionally, since we didn't do the food cart tech, I got bulldozed by the dinosaur from 80 fucking miles away.
Gotcha, bitch!
I also learned something in this dungeon that I should have already known, but I am such a god gamer that I've never actually messed up this mechanic. For the mailroom boss, if you miss with the briefcase, it will explode upon impact with the floor. In the market section, our tank once again fell victim to class favoritism, but we were able to kite it back to the waystone and keep chugging along. We finished the dungeon with less than a minute left, but nonetheless had timed our first 13 key. Going back to running my own key, we formed another group, and I willingly accepted this Blood Death Knight to prove that I am not biased. This dungeon can sometimes be a nuisance with the Sentinel hero paths. The Demolition duo can jump around a lot, so it's definitely worth it to save Lunar Storm for when Kiza first lands. The same is true for the last boss. Nothing really else to mention about this dungeon. I've been pretty fortunate to 2-chest a lot of my 12 keys, but it wasn't going to be quite enough to get me all the way to 3k. Dawnbreaker is one of the easier keys, so getting a +13 done here shouldn't be too bad. Of course, Dawnbreaker does what Dawnbreaker does, and I died in the beginning to something, and then there was an additional random enemy on the boat. I will not miss this dungeon. On the second boss, our tank ran out to fucking Narnia and pulled more trash for no reason. Do tanks not, like, look at routes? Sorry, this isn't the Hate on Tank series. And I, personally, was very much goofing the hell out of this key and died a lot. Also, the last 2 videos, my dumbass recommended using Disengage to drop bottles on the floor of the last boss rather than running him out like normal.
Nope.
Don't do this. This time, I just kept messing up the timing. It's just so troll. After all this time, I could finally see the end in my sight. This +13 Gambit would be the final key both me and this paladin needed for 3k IO. I was pretty stressed out here, especially after getting triple water bolted on the first pull. Hey, why the fuck? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. We also pulled all 4 Stormforged Guardians onto the first boss, which I admittedly had a bit of an overreaction to. What? Why are we? Dude, just fucking chill! Stuff a chill pill up your goddamn ass. I also got fucked up twice on the second boss. God fucking damn it.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood.
But we had plenty of time regardless. Our group was trolling the fuck out of me and this paladin, joking about leaving the key, their internet disconnecting, and even jokingly open up the abandoned instance vote.
No. Wait.
On the last boss, I was told to soak, which was a bit weird. I think they thought that I was ranged, Hashtag not all hunters are ranged, okay? Either way, I was okay with this because it meant that no one else had the opportunity to fuck up this mechanic. Through all my pain, all my triumphs, I had run keys with legitimately hundreds of different people. I know that sounds crazy, but I went back through all the videos and counted over 200 different people. It all culminated in this one moment. We had done it, and so had this guy. But more importantly, I was now 3,000 IO. Without the use of friends, guilds, or raids, I had made it to Keystone Legend, and just in time for Turbo Boost vendors next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. This series was both more frustrating and more fun than I could have ever imagined. I really feel like I got to connect with both players in the game and you viewers. If you made it this far, you must have enjoyed it to some degree, so consider subscribing. I definitely want to do another Zero to Hero series, so let me know what class or spec you want to see next time. I was thinking maybe doing healer or tank for my next series. Either way, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.